Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
This is the show. You are the show, actually. So, because this thing would not exist if we didn't have you hanging out with us, whether you're here with us right now on Twitch, maybe you're listening later on YouTube. Shout out to you. You know what I'd like to do, actually? If you are watching on YouTube, and I know we have been delayed at times. Ooh, there's a hype train.
At this moment in time, last week's shows aren't posted.
Yeah, there's only 2 shows last week.
Exactly.
It's not all 3. We're not a week behind yet.
We didn't have 3.
What I'd like you to do, though, is let us know, go into the comments, and just type in the date that you are watching.
That you are actually watching, not the date of the show you're watching.
Correct, yes.
The date it is in the world.
As you watch this show on YouTube.
Yes.
That's it. If you want to let us know where you're watching from, that'd be cool, too. But the only thing we really need is the date that you are watching the show in the comments on YouTube.
Yes. So right before we went live, which I guess we were live, but we were just on Twitch chatting about how Yellow Card and Third Eye Blind are going on tour this summer. And you asked me, I wonder if they're going to come to the winery here. And
yes.
that would be Chateau
Saint Michelle.
Saint Michelle.
Because I feel like last summer, Third Eye Blind was there.
I don't recall.
Either last summer or the summer before, Third Eye Blind was there. Yeah. They do a bunch of, big shows there, and you can buy wine, sit on the lawn, and just watch artists.
That's a cool, it's cool art. It's very, Little Mermaidy.
Mm-hmm.
For the tour. I'm just checking to see if there's, dates.
Yeah, what are the dates?
What I do know is that I'm very scared of Stephen Jenkins as a person.
Why? Didn't he yell at you one day?
Not me.
Oh.
In the Dunkin' Donuts Iced Coffee Lounge, what was it called at Z100?
The Dunkin' Donuts Iced Coffee, DDICL, Coffee Lounge.
Dunkin' Donuts Iced Coffee Lounge, which is not even called Dunkin' Donuts anymore.
Yeah.
It would just be called the Dickle. The Dunkin' Iced Coffee Lounge. It was literally our cafeteria where we had lunch, but we just rebranded it. We would have artists come in and perform. And different people who worked at the different radio stations would host different ones based on who the artist was. And I got to host Stephen Jenkins from Third Eye Blind, who did an acoustic performance and interview. Mm-hmm. And it was a few listeners, but a lot of people that work for the station, our sales team, were just sitting there, and I asked him a few questions, and he was like, you know what I hate? When people at shows, we're in a cafeteria, mind you.
With a dozen people.
A small room, not on a mic or anything. And he's like, I hate when people are at shows on their phones with their phones in their faces, and I can't see their faces. And I'm like, valid point, but discredited by the fact that you're screaming in our cafeteria.
Yeah.
It was bizarre.
I've heard he's an interesting person. I've heard he's a very unique person. Lisa and Jen, thank you very much for the 3 gifted tier. What do we got here? The gifted tier 1 subs. Thank you. I saw 3 pop up. It was Jen, Lisa, and Jess from Minnesota. Thank you very much. And it looks like we got through Hype Train Level 5, Carla Marie.
Can you hit me with the birthday song?
Oh, sure.
Happy birthday, Jess from Minnesota.
Oh, happy birthday.
And DJ Sin. It was his birthday Saturday.
Happy birthday, everybody. We haven't played that song in a while.
I know. I said that to you the other day.
First HBD of the year.
Tickets will be available for that tour starting January 12th.
Are they coming to the Seattle area?
It's very difficult to find out where.
What do you mean?
Nothing is you Google it, and I got to read 8 articles with 87.
Why don't you just go to yellowcard.com? Yellowcardrock.com, I believe it is. Mm-hmm. They should have their tour dates up there somewhere.
Not the internet. They don't make it easy these days.
You know what I found interesting? When I was doing today's update for the college football playoff for the championship game, I wanted to make sure I knew the network and the time it was going to be. So I went to the college football playoff website. They didn't have it listed. Not in an easy it should be right there on the homepage.
I had to ask Google. It's at 4:30.
4:30 our time.
Oh, it's on their Instagram. Did we do the hype train?
What? Yeah, we talked about the hype train.
The whole thing is done?
Yeah. I said that
So
right before we played the birthday song.
I didn't know we hit 5.
So, yes, in case you missed it, Yellow Card is going on tour again.
Oh,
they are touring.
It kicks off in Spokane.
But they don't come here?
Washington. Don't they know we're old now? The font, guys.
Is it on their Instagram?
Oh, Seattle, June 13th.
There you go.
Seattle. Not Woodinville, Seattle.
Where does it say where?
No.
I'm trying to think. Where would it be?
Is it at WAMU?
It could be WAMU. It could also be one of the Showbox locations.
I'm finding out right now.
Because they did WAMU last time they were here, right?
That was just Yellow Card.
Yeah, so I figure if they sold out WAMU when they were here last time, why wouldn't they do it again? Maybe. That'd be cool.
There's no way they're doing Yellow Card and Third Eye Blind at a smaller venue than WAMU.
Exactly. I think WAMU is a very good theater. It's a very good sized theater.
Lumen Field. And I'm hosting.
Well, make it work, Carla Marie.
I should get to do concerts.
Let's see. Angela in Spokane said you should just come to Spokane. You should come to the Spokane show anyway and see me too. Yeah. We could. Why don't we tour with them? We could be like, you know how, what is it, Fish? No, the Grateful Dead. One of those bands that people will like follow them all summer and go to every single tour stop. We could do that with Yellow Card and Third Eye Blind.
Yeah, if they pay me.
How much would they have to pay you?
I would get on stage and be like,
hey, what would they pay you for, I guess?
I'd be the host.
Why do they need a host?
Well, like back in the day, they used to have that at NSYNC. It was Joey Fatone's brother.
Yeah, but that was more probably like a charity thing. Right?
He was the hype guy, and he threw out, I caught the camera, the disposable camera.
Do you think he was getting paid for that?
Well, we can ask.
Ask him.
Is his brother still alive? I don't know. I get nervous. I don't want to be like asking questions about somebody that's dead.
I don't know. But that took a really dark turn. Man, we haven't even gotten into the show. Are you going to do a shot, Carla Marie?
I can. But don't talk about things on my list.
Okay, I'll tell people what's on the list. Go. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out what to do. Make it snappy with my drinks, though.
No, but I gotta find ice.
All right, so let's see what Carla Marie's got on this list. Monday, January 8th, 2024. Birthdays, Jess and DJ Synth. We got that. Jo Koy in the Golden Globes, Barbie Oscars, Airplane Hole, Detective and Christmas Carol, and then Power of Organization. Carla Marie is yelling that she can't find the shaker. I can't hear you. Just grab that chocolate drink and we'll take a shot of that. Sorry if I'm screaming into the microphone. I apologize. I probably should have done one of these. Oh, we're in level 6. I didn't realize that. And that is about to end in a second. So that's something we're working on, Meg. Meg said, let me put this on the screen. There we go. I miss when you'd have the date and list of things on the screen. What happened to that? So we have a new computer that we are using temporarily. And the way I used to do that is it was on my laptop. I had Photoshop, and I would just update that Photoshop document basically every day with all of the new information. For some reason, the way this computer has been set up, our account won't let me, because it's a friend's computer and he like split off an account for us. It won't let me download any of the Adobe products on here. So I can't do that. So we're working on kind of a workaround to do that. We might not use Photoshop. We might use something else, but we are working on that. I know I was supposed to have a bunch of new stuff for the year, and sometimes technology just doesn't work in your favor. Christmas Carol is not making an appearance today as far as I know, but I also don't schedule things with Christmas Carol, so she can kind of do whatever she wants. Audrey, we might actually use Canva for this specific thing, so that is a good suggestion, which we have actually thought of. I'm just hearing noise back there. Yeah, the screens, multiple screens, should be updated soon. There's a bunch of stuff we're working on. It's just working between two computers that don't want to cooperate with one another has been a little bit of an issue. And it's also just getting used to a new setup, and there's lighting things we got to switch. There's a long list. But the thing that is cool is that so far, the things that we do have been working, And that's like the most important thing. That's the bare minimum. So we're getting that done. Carla Marie, how you looking? I heard yeah. I just poked myself in the eye as well. What is that? How did the East Coasters do with the snow this weekend? That's right. There was a lot of snow up and down the East Coast, right? There's 8 inches of snow? Damn. Apparently we have a storm rolling in, I guess, this weekend here in Seattle. I hear the shaker, and I see Carla Marie's running with the shaker, which can only end poorly. What do we got?
It's a lychee lover.
A lychee lover.
Yeah. As we get into Valentine's season.
Where'd you get the recipe for this?
Jordan left out all the ingredients.
Oh, really?
The recipe. I didn't know.
Look
I
at
turned
that.
on the lights, which I literally spent 5 minutes there doing things in the dark. Before I turned on the lights, I was like, oh, it's all here.
That's great. Shout out to Jordan. Look at that. Helping us out even when she's not here. Jordan's the real MVP.
It's 2 ounces of tequila and 2 ounces of like a lychee thing.
Okay.
It's SeattleCocktailClub.com. She's normally here to post the link.
So wait, why is it something for lychee lovers? What's the theme there?
Valentine's Day.
It's over a month away.
Never too early to start planning. Though I don't even remember what you did last year.
Probably nothing.
Where did we go last year for Valentine's Day?
Oh, I have no idea. This is why those holidays aren't important. Cheers to you, Carla Marie.
Cheers, Anthony.
Cheers to everyone who supported the stream today. And, of course, cheers to our ghost bartender. Her name is Jordan. That's pretty good. It's like fruity.
Mm. I may or may not have put too much tequila. I think I measured a little bit weird because I didn't know that I read the jigger wrong at first.
It's funny because right at the end there is that was my ear hole.
That was my.
There was a little more tequila at the end there, and it's funny because I drank it. I was like, oh, very fruity, and then the tequila kind of like slips in right at the end.
I read it wrong, and then I just ran. Literally,
whatever.
There, so.
It is all good. Thank you very much to everyone who supported the stream.
Martha said, didn't the restaurant close last year that you wanted to go to for Valentine's Day? No, that was the restaurant we were going to on my birthday.
Yeah. And it should be noted that I did the research, but their website was incorrect and they were not open on your birthday, even though they said they were open on your birthday. Their regular operating hours. Your birthday fell within.
You should know that Salt Lake Union closes on Sundays. It might as well be Bergen County.
They should put that on their website. No? How is that my fault?
I don't know.
What are you looking for?
I was looking to see what we did on Valentine's Day.
No one cares.
No,
Let's move on. Who watched the Golden Globes last night? I did watch a little bit. Carla Marie had it on as I was eating yesterday.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. Kieran Culkin won for Succession.
Cool. What was the category?
An actor. Something in
like
a drama.
Best actor or something?
Yeah, and he's just so, he's so him.
Well, I feel like that was the interesting thing with a lot of those characters on Succession is outside of the accents, they all in regular interviews seem like they're less crappy versions of themselves on the show.
So he won, and then Sarah Snook won for female.
Which one is she?
Shiv.
Oh, the Shiv. Okay.
And then the show won for, I forget what all the categories were. Mm-hmm. And Greg was actually there. He was sitting at a different table. But this is what I was laughing at. And if you don't watch Succession, it's 4 seasons. You'll get through it really fast. It's dramatic, but not like dramatic in where I have anxiety and I couldn't watch Ozarks.
Yeah. You also couldn't watch Sons of Anarchy.
I stopped. I don't even know. I don't know if everyone's dead, alive, no idea. I couldn't do it anymore. So it's not dramatic in that way. But one of our favorite characters is Greg. And he was, I can't even think of his real name at the moment. He's so tall that I watched them adjust the camera because part of his head was getting cut off. And he's just so tall and he's so and he's in the background smirking as if his character would. To me, they are all those people.
And I don't think most men in Hollywood aren't that tall because a lot of times when they're casting, they're trying to make sure that like couples, if you will,
Are the same height.
are close to the same height. So women are usually taller than the average woman in Hollywood, and men are usually shorter than the average man in Hollywood. That way it balances it out. So to have him at like 6'4", it's funny just to watch on screen in succession.
And he's so good. Like, I love him. I watch his interviews all the time because I'm just such a huge fan of him.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think of his name. It's driving me insane.
Tom Wamsgans.
Remember? We took us to the last episode to realize they were saying Gans.
His character is so funny because if you watched the Golden Globes yesterday, he's like the douchiest. They're all douchey characters on the show. He's one of the douchiest characters on the show in the way that he talks to people and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's talking in an American accent, obviously, where he's British in real life. And the interesting thing is when you listen to his interviews, even though he's British, the way he talks is exactly the way his character talks.
Yes.
The pauses, the pacing, the repeating of everything.
So, like, are these people even acting?
I don't know. But that's the crazy thing about Succession, though, like I said earlier, is they all seem like they're acting, but they're acting as their worst version of themselves.
Like, how do I get a role doing that? Because I think I could.
You're doing it right now.
Do you think you could act?
Yes.
Same.
I don't think I can win like an Oscar, but I think you could put me in a TV show.
Also think, and I was thinking about this last night, this will take us to technically the first thing on our list, that I'm saying this not even as a joke, I could have done a better job at the opening monologue than Jo Koy.
I don't think you would have.
Like, there's not a doubt in my mind.
I think, listen, I love Jo Koy as a comedian and
Agreed.
A personality. He's been, in all the interviews I've seen with him, he seems so kind.
Yeah.
We know people that know him really well.
He's from this area.
He grew up here and then I think hated it. And the second he turned 18, he was out of the Pacific Northwest. But he did not do a great job yesterday. But that's what I think we're seeing the beginning of the end of award shows as we know them. I mean, Trevor Noah's doing the Emmys for what, like the 18th year in a row?
No, it's not that many. It's like
third year in a row.
But that's why no one wanted that job.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were so good at hosting the Golden Globes together. Just have them do it forever.
Yeah.
They really were. And I think having someone, and again, this was the first year comedians were recognized at the Golden Globes in a category, but I think having someone who is in Hollywood, it was almost, the jokes were less funny, and this goes for any comedian that hosts any award show, really, because it wasn't coming from inside.
Well, I think that was also the problem. Now, if you didn't watch any part of the Golden Globes, I'm sure you've seen headlines talking about how bad the opening monologue was and how Jo Koy bombed, blah, blah, blah. One of the things I think that happened, because some of the jokes were funny. It was not like every single joke was bad.
99%.
I don't think Jo Koy is for the people that were in the audience there, the live audience, all the massive celebrities, the Taylor Swifts, the Robert Downey Jr.'s of the world, he's not in their world.
They had no idea who it was.
And I don't think they wanted to let themselves laugh at someone who was like beneath them. I really do think it was like an elitist type of thing. And you're not in our A-list Hollywood crowd, right? You're not
Right.
You're not Trevor Noah. You're not Chris Rock. You're not whoever else.
Okay, I'm going to
agree.
agree.
So we're not going to laugh at you.
I'm going to agree, but disagree.
Okay.
I don't think it was, we're better than you, we're above you. It's,
Oh. Hold on one second. We got a phone call, people.
Nick. We need to fix that.
Good morning, Nick.
Hey, Anthony.
Hello,
Morning,
hello.
morning, morning.
Morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to convey like a quick message about the awards because I really love Jo Koy. I think he's a phenomenal comedian
Same.
and entertainer, and I actually see this trend where more and more, top of the line comedians are turning down all these different award shows because they will not be able to be themselves, even if they're on the same level as all those, rich and famous celebrities. Because, comedy been under such a big, microscope and scrutiny. And I think they just told Jo Koy, hey, you cannot do this joke. You cannot do this joke. and you cannot comment about these other 25 issues. So
I do think that he probably
You
had some
know-
handcuffs during that. There's
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
because you have these big stars who probably don't want the funniest jokes made about them.
Right.
But at the same time, I think there is this narrative about like, oh, comedians can't be comedians anymore. I think comedians can be. They just have to be good, right?
Okay, and that's what a lot of people are saying right now in the chat. And what I was going to say is the jokes were lazy. And he kept blaming writers, which I think is beyond fucked up because we just had the whole writer's strike. Like,
Well, not
your
even
only
that.
reason you're standing up there is because people wrote this for you.
I also think it's messed up because if those jokes were landing, I don't think he would have said that wasn't written by me.
Exactly.
And that's messed up.
It's lazy.
Yeah.
And it's lazy and it's shady.
But I want to let Nick off the phone real quick.
Yeah.
Nick, I do agree with you that Jo Koy he's a good
Yes.
comedian and he's a good entertainer in general. So it sucked as a fan of Jo Koy seeing that go down.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be like a new format where they're just going to stop hiring comedians because less and less comedians want to do this gig, no matter how much money you throw in them. And Jo Koy said, I took this thing 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So if I give you this big gig and I tell you, oh, you got 10 days to prep, well, how much really can you prep? Who's going to be your writers? Who's the producer? How much can you really say? What can you not say? It is just a mess. I mean,
I do agree with you there. And I'm going to follow up on something. I want to let you go, but I'm going to follow up on something in a second, okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for hitting us up,
guys.
Nick. You look great. There was also the fact that, you were saying something.
Yes.
Sorry.
That I agree but disagree with you in that it's not that they were like, we're above you. It's we don't know you and you're making fun of us. Where every other time when it's Chris Rock, unless you're Will Smith, you know who it is and it's Chris Rock making fun of you and you like it was just they took someone no one knew. Because then when you started watching like Jim Gaffigan, he gets up to present the award for the best performance in stand-up comedy. He was I was like, why didn't he do it? He was so good. His jokes were great. He says something along the lines of, I'm from the middle of nowhere. I don't know how I got into this industry. I'm not even a pedophile. Like, it was just like, why didn't he do it? And I think that was the problem, is that everyone was like, bro, who are you?
Yeah.
It was very much the same as when I made fun of Greg T when I first started. And he was like, who is this new kid making fun of me? Everyone else can, but she can't.
So the other part, I think I talked about this when I mentioned that they had reached out to Chris Rock and he turned it down. They reached out to a bunch of people.
Everyone turned it down.
I know at one point Ali Wong, no. God, who was it? There was someone else that I guess right before Jo Koy was going to take it and they dropped out. And there was an interview with an agent, like a Hollywood agent. And the Hollywood agent was basically like, listen, they do get paid to do this, but outside of the check, it's really a lose-lose situation for most of these hosts because either no one's watching it and you wasted all of your time and it doesn't go anywhere. The only time it's going to spread like wildfire is if you bombed like Jo Koy did. Like if Jo Koy did well yesterday, I don't think anyone would be talking about it. There wouldn't be articles, mainly because that's not the news cycle that we live in. There wouldn't be articles saying, oh my God, relative unknown Jo Koy does so well at Golden Globes.
You don't know. It could have been. Because if it was good, it would have just been that the Golden Globes were good.
They just would have happened. That's the point. They wouldn't have been a headline. Right? And I think this is where we're going to start seeing award shows kind of scale back. And I don't think a ton of people watch them anymore.
I think last night is going to be your most watched Golden Globes.
Because it was
Taylor Swift and Barbie. Because you have people that don't normally watch tuning in.
What was she there for again?
So another category
Swift,
that they added this year was cinematic, like box office success.
That makes sense.
And Barbie ended up winning.
So that makes sense because oftentimes
I told you that.
I forgot about that category. Oftentimes the people who win Best Picture, they're not movies that did well in the box office, and everyone who does well in the box office goes like, well, where's our award for doing well?
And when they accepted it, Margot Robbie said something along the lines of like, this is the first Golden Globes award that recognizes fans. She's like, this award is for everyone that dressed up like Barbie and went to the theater. So I thought she did a really great job, her and Greta Gerwig in that speech. And I thought like that was really cool. I mean, it made sense. Barbie really should have won. Like, I think obviously what Taylor Swift was able to do with the box office was also incredible. Like those two and Oppenheimer really just
I think when you compare
the box
it, though,
office this year.
when you compare what Taylor Swift did to Barbie or Oppenheimer, it's like, well, that was just your tour.
Right.
Right? These people, and not that there wasn't planning and very detailed things
It's
going
just two
on.
completely different things.
Yeah.
I think what Taylor did was so smart. You're going to see other artists, Beyonce also. You're going to see other artists doing the same thing. And the fact that they cut out the middleman
Yeah.
of they just said, we're going to film with our own production crew and then we're going to give it to AMC theaters on film.
And then they gave it to who else? Someone else? Does someone have it now on streaming?
You can, it's like anywhere, or is it Prime? I haven't done it yet because you can only get it for 48 hours.
Okay.
It's $20 for 48 hours. So I'm waiting for the most amount of 48 hours where I can watch it.
And then it's also in the metaverse, right? It's on.
Apparently, you can watch it in VR, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's legally done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
Are you gonna pirate Taylor Swift stuff?
She'll be okay if I did, but I'm not.
No, I do think what's great about what Taylor did was she gave artists, at least big artists, the ability to continue making money on their tour almost as an afterthought, right? As long as you're putting a good visually pleasing tour together,
Yeah,
and you're filming it, you can make millions of dollars once it's all done.
so smart.
And I think she kind of unlocked that for a lot of artists. I mean, Beyonce also could have done it totally on her own.
Yeah,
They're probably the only two artists that could have done it to the level that they did and open up that door for other artists. I don't know who's going to come through that door next, but you know, Kiss could do it.
Rolling
Stones, like they could also do it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But yeah, overall, Golden Globes, we've officially entered award season. And one of the things that pissed me off yesterday or Saturday that came out is that they've now, for Oscars, which I forget when they are, but they put Barbie not in Best Original Screenplay, but in Best Adapted Screenplay.
That's usually from like a book or something, right?
So, and Judd Apatow came out and said, this is insulting to the writers of Barbie. There was no story. They created this story. And that's kind of like what he went. He's like, they had a box and a plastic doll.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Was there a Barbie cartoon back in the day?
Maybe. But it wasn't this storyline.
No, I agree.
There was no storyline that Ken was a nobody. Like, that didn't exist. And the example I said to you yesterday, Anthony, was that would be like saying, well, Toy Story then is an adapted screenplay because Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
And Barbie and Ken
And
are
the
also
Slinky,
in.
and the Slinky dog
And the
is in
Slinky.
it.
So you know what? It wasn't original.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I wonder, all of these award shows, they're just trying to get as many big names on the stage as they possibly can. So I wonder if they said, well, we can give Barbie an award. We can also give Oppenheimer an award. Huh?
These are nominees.
They're going to win.
You don't know that.
What else is up in the adapted screenplay category?
So can they win for movie of the year then still overall?
Or best picture or whatever? Probably. Again, outside of the opening monologue, I don't think I really actually sit down and watch award shows.
But like whenever the MTV movie, when they come around, Barbie's going to clean up.
Of course.
Okay, it's Sunday, March 10th.
Okay. And what do we got?
Stand by. Best picture. Oh, Barbie isn't there. Barbie is nominated for best picture.
Okay.
Okay, so what are we looking
So what's in the adapted screenplay one? This is what, the second website we're having an issue with?
I just hate the ads.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly, if I could just pay for internet, like for...
I think that'll happen at some point.
I'd pay a pretty penny, just letting...
How many pennies?
100.
100 pennies. Here's the thing, though. If you came out
not
with a
even in
service right now,
even
and maybe it's out there, I could be wrong, or I could be uninformed, I should say. If they came out with a service right now and said, you give us $1 a year, and we'll remove all ads from all websites. But then the problem is, how do you actually go to every website? You just block it? Because then at least 1 million people would do that, right? So now you're making $1 million a year. I'd say multiple million people would do it.
I don't know. I can't even.
Is it? Are the nominees not announced?
Maybe not. Are nominees announced for Oscars? They have to be.
What are we looking for? Oscars.
I think it's also because I'm on my phone and then the ads take up the whole screen.
Screenplay.
Adapted.
What did I say? Adaptive. 2024.
Prediction. So does that mean they were?
Let's see. Oh, the predicted nominees.
Predicted nominees.
But they don't even have
Barbie is
Barbie
predicted
here.
because it's not an adapted.
So the ones they have predicted, and this is according to Variety, Poor Things, American Fiction, Oppenheimer, All of Us Strangers, and Killers of the Flower Moon.
Killers of the Flower Moon and Poor Things won a lot of stuff yesterday.
But this is interesting about that category. Predicted nominees for, what was it again?
Adapted screenplay.
Adapted screenplay. Is while they're listing them, it'll say Poor Things, and it says based on the book by
Wait, what are they going to write?
Alasdair Gray.
Based on Mattel toy?
That's going to be the interesting thing, because it's telling you what everything is based on, whether it's a play or a movie or a book. What are they going to write for Barbie if it happens to be in that category?
Boxed toy.
Toy. Because even Spider-Man, based off Marvel Comics, based off, let's see, what else? The Taste of Things, based off a novel. BlackBerry, based off the phone.
And then
Not
also,
really, it's based off a book, by the way.
like, I mean, all these other movies are good, but is Barbie going to win that one? Who votes for Oscars? That's not the people.
Is it the Academy?
It's the Academy, yeah.
That's who they thank, right? They thank the Academy?
Yeah, because it used to be it's the Academy Awards. But you win an Oscar.
But you win an Oscar.
When is the SAG Awards? What is that? That's the one we used to get to vote in.
Yeah, we don't get to vote in that anymore. I don't know when that is. Again, there's just too many award shows at the end of the day. I think that's what we're all... What if they merged?
Well, no.
We're like, companies merge all the time.
No,
why can't the Academy and the International Global Writers Strike Force? What are they called? The guys...
Force 5.
The ones who do yesterday's award show.
Well, that's movies and TV.
Okay. And this is Oscars or what, just movies?
Just movies.
So smash them all together.
I believe. But different people pick them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Make a bigger group.
Yeah, but like there's money behind it.
Follow the money, as they say.
But do you want to hear some of the hot goss?
Wouldn't they make more money, though?
No.
Why not?
Because you make more money because these celebrities have to...
No, you make it a bigger event,
but
therefore
also,
you charge more.
People definitely are paying for their nominations. I don't care what anybody says.
Probably.
The hot goss from last night.
No.
So, Taylor Swift was sitting next to Kylie Teller, one of her best friends, Miles Teller's wife. You ask every time who's Miles Teller, and I show you him, and you say, "Oh, that guy."
What's he in?
He's hot.
Is it Miles with a Y or a
no?
I. Miles Teller. Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Top Gun. So, anyway, she's sitting next. They're BFFs, and Selena Gomez also BFF, but is sitting with her Only Murders in the Building fam.
Okay.
So she comes up to Taylor and Kaylee and starts telling them something at their
Selena
table.
comes up to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they react. And everyone reading lips says that Kaylee Teller says, "Who, Timothee?" And the theory is that Selena Gomez went up to them and said, "I went to go take a picture with Timothee Chalamet."
Mm-hmm.
And she said no. And him and Kylie Jenner are dating. They were making out at their table the whole night. And apparently Kylie Jenner told Selena she couldn't take a picture with her boyfriend. That is
this is all through
lip reading, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm buying into this one.
Okay.
Because it checks. Because the Kardashians don't like the Taylor group.
Why not? Are
you kidding?
No. Why don't they get along?
Kanye? Still.
Yeah, but
no. Because Kanye and then Kim lied about the whole thing, and then Taylor Swift called her out in the recent article. So, yeah. Because Kim Kardashian is lying is essentially the reason Taylor Swift ran away with Joe Alwyn in a cabin in the woods for 5 years.
But look what came of it.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, I guess.
Shout out to Kim K.
I know.
The savior we didn't know we needed.
But, yeah.
Interesting. I mean... I will say, Timothée Chalamet...
If that happened, if she was like, "No, you can't take a picture with my boyfriend."
I doubt that happened. I really do. I'd love to hear it. I don't know if we'll ever get it because Selena and Taylor are both very good about just not answering those questions and not getting into, believe it or not, they actually don't get themselves into public drama. It's usually the public trying to drag them into drama. But I will say Timothee Chalamet seems like one of the coolest people in the world.
I do like him.
Because he's a good-looking guy. He's a good actor. Seems like when he's on SNL, he's very entertaining. Seems like he can make make a joke at his own expense, which is appreciated. And his style is awesome.
Yeah.
Like he's that weird mix of actor, but also like high fashion, where when he dresses in whatever blinged out thing he was wearing, it looks appropriate on him. You know, it doesn't look like he's trying too hard. If that makes any sense.
I'm looking at what he was wearing.
Because he was wearing like a black very shiny, like tuxedo top, I guess. So whatever, blazer, tuxedo jacket.
Look at the photo of Selena, like, heated, telling them what just happened. It's so good.
No, I don't think anyone can see that. There you go.
I want it to be true just because imagine that would literally be me. I'd be going, I went to go do this and she said no. Telling all your friends. I love it. They're just like us.
Fred brings up a good point. He said, dating a Jenner Dashian is a huge red flag.
Facts, though.
Which I don't disagree with, but also, have you seen them? Like, how do you not if you're given the opportunity?
It's true. And
like
Kylie Jenner is so pretty.
Which Kylie is the lip one, right? Yes. She's got the lip stuff.
You know who you say
I'm
that
making sure. I'm making sure.
You know, the only other
Kendall,
one
I think,
is Kendall.
Kendall's the best one.
That's your favorite.
Kendall and Kim. It goes.
Kendall's also the most normal.
Okay. Kendall, Kim.
This is how you are ranking them, and you're like who you would.
Yeah.
Date. Okay.
Kendall, Kim, Courtney. Actually, no. Kim, Kendall, Courtney.
Wait.
Kylie. What's Rob?
Chloe? No, okay. Hold on. You just put Kim above Kendall. You
okay.
love Kendall.
I do. If this was FMK, right? If this was FMK.
We're not doing this right now. This is so 1995.
It's fine. Kendall would be the Mary.
Okay.
Which is why I'm putting Kim first. If I only got one shot, one opportunity, Mom Spaghetti, Kim.
Okay.
How do you not? It's just, it's crazy. I've seen both of them in person, too. What?
I thought you were going to reference the video and
what
say
video?
I've seen both.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that video. How do you even watch? I think you have to buy it, right?
From Ray J himself?
I don't know. But I have seen them in person. But I saw Kendall when we were working something at Victoria's Secret fashion show years and years ago at Z100.
We walked right by her.
And Kim I saw in person because I used to run all the meet and greets for...
She's so short.
For iHeartRadio's Jingle Ball in New York. Z100's iHeartRadio Jingle Ball. And Kim was doing an appearance and a meet and greet for her fragrance. And Macy's was like the big client, so they brought her in. They're the ones that paid together there. And I didn't really talk to her or anything. She was maybe like 3 feet away from me as I was talking to her team. Kim Kardashian in person, at least that day, looked like someone made the most perfect porcelain doll and just like transported it and dropped. It's weird. There's not like one imperfection. There's not one hair out of place.
No, that's why like some of these accounts will be like,
scary.
This is what Kim Kardashian's skin actually looks like. And I'm like, I've seen her in real life. She's not wearing, she's wearing makeup.
She's wearing makeup.
But like, you can normally, and listen, obviously maybe millionaire, billionaire makeup is different than normal people makeup. But like, even when you see her, you can normally tell when people are like, you know, completely contoured. She is, and she's so nice. Her skin is perfect.
Her team was very nice. She interacted with everyone very kindly. So I got nothing to her. And Chloe was also the same way. Chloe came the following year and was actually a little nicer and more, not, I wouldn't say nicer because I didn't get enough time to make that distinction. She was more talkative and open.
It makes sense.
Than Kim
that
was.
Honestly, is just who they are, though, as people. Carolina Bermudez did an interview with Kim Kardashian at some event. I went and filmed it. This is before you had your job on a flip cam, if you remember those.
I filmed a lot of stuff on flip cams.
So I filmed an interview with Kim Kardashian. Like, could you imagine showing up to that right now?
I mean, it's no different right now than showing up with your phone.
A little different.
And recording. I mean, the quality is going to be terrible.
So
those things were cool, though, for their time. They had the little pop-out USB that made you feel like you had, like, a switchblade.
I filmed Justin Bieber with that.
It's kind of. I filmed Greg T not jumping off the Space Needle.
That's right. No.
With that.
Not the
Space Needle. No, the Stratosphere in Vegas.
I might have to do a bathroom break.
And Tacoma Swifty does bring up a good point. A lot of what Kim has is a lot of plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's unattainable for the normal people.
It's very expensive, if anything. But it was just wild to me. That was the first time I had seen someone like that.
I've never seen anyone else like that since then.
And it just was wild. Like, the way she walked was perfect. The way everything she did seemed like so practiced and meticulous and thought out. It was weird.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm going to take a pee break.
Kind of like when Taylor Swift walked backwards from the gym to her car, or sideways, or whatever it was.
Why don't paparazzi want to take pics of me?
That's true. If I did have Kim K money, I would pay Miles to just hang around and give me a fresh haircut every day. Keep my Arab neck clean. It's a lot of work. And Kim K does obviously have a whole team. I'm not trying to be out here telling people they need to look like Kim Kardashian, because that's nearly impossible. Let's see. What else is she going to do? I mean, her job is to look perfect. That's also the same thing, like, when any actor or athlete looks incredible, you go, well, that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. And you're starting to see it now, especially with athletes, where you have the Tom Brady's, the LeBron James, and I know they're the best at what they do. It's a weird example to use, but when you find out how much they invest in their bodies and their health routine and their recovery, they'll spend, I mean, LeBron, I think it was documented, spends well over $1 million a year on just all the apparatus, the recovery, the leg recovery things, all of that. And now that's why he's playing still at a very high level, still probably a top 20 player in the NBA at 39 years old, which is wild. He's been doing it since he was 18. That was a fast pee, Carla Marie.
I didn't even run. Did you see my pants today?
Are they plaid?
I can't even see them on the camera.
Why are you wearing all green? You a leprechaun today?
Because, well, I rented these pants because I was going to wear them for the Seahawks event on Friday.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then they matched my cool sweater, so
Well, I'm wearing purple pants for the Huskies.
I don't own purple, so.
Or what color would you? This is purple-ish. I can't put them on the screen.
I would say that is a purple.
It's like a lavender.
Dark lavender, yeah.
I realized I don't have any purple stuff. I used to have a UW hoodie.
I grew out of it.
And I gave it to one of our friends.
Yeah, I grew out of it.
You grew out of it? Did you hit your growth spurt?
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
What else is on your list, Carla Marie?
Okay, so fun story. I was at the Seahawks-Eagles game, December 17th, 18th, whatever it was, whenever it got moved to, before Christmas. And I was walking onto the field, and I hear someone go, "Christmas Carol." And I was like, this bitch is here? So I started looking around, and it's a cop who's been on the field plenty of times. I've talked to him before in the past. He's told me he's bought stuff from What's Trending for his wife. He thanked me for helping him with that kind of stuff, and I was like, cool. So I go up to him, and I'm like, what? You watch our show? And he's like, yeah, all the time. So
but where was Christmas Carol while this was all going down?
I think he was just saying, like, I watched your show. I saw Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And
so you still haven't met her?
No.
Wow.
And he was like, I think Christmas Carol has a warrant out for her arrest for stalking. And I was like, this is crazy. So then he comes up to me later in the game, and he said, I heard you on your show talking about these gold cards.
Oh, the PBA cards that you get in New York, New Jersey, maybe Connecticut as well.
And he was like, we certainly do not have those here in Washington. I had never heard of them before you mentioned them on your show. He goes, so we don't have those.
Well, I'm not surprised that we don't have them. I know we don't have them. I'm just surprised he hadn't heard of them as a cop.
And he said, we don't have those, but I'll give you this.
What do
And
we
it's
got?
his card. But on the back,
Hero, you look great on the back.
it's
That's
a stamp.
awesome. Where did
I
he get
want to
that?
know where he got a stamp. Or did he print
Oh,
that?
he probably no. There are
Like a label maker, but clear, like a...
it's like a stamp label maker basically. So you rotate the letters and then the rubber letters and then you stamp it.
So yeah,
So I can do whatever I want now?
Yeah, Detective David Ortner. He is based in Vancouver, Washington.
Oh, that doesn't help me.
Washington, why?
Because I don't drive around Vancouver very often.
Yeah, but Washington State Patrol,
True.
Criminal Investigation Division. I wonder if I can do a ride along with him and I can help him because I listen to a lot of murder podcasts. I'm gonna.
Can we ask him if there's a warrant out for my arrest and if he finds it, not to arrest me?
Why would you have one now?
I don't know. Just
Jury
you never
duty?
know. You never know these days.
All right, well, Detective Ordner, if you're watching this, maybe I'll see you at the event on Friday. If not, we got to talk about us doing a little ride along.
I want to see. You can ask him if I've got.
Because if they would just
Tell
show
him
me
to do a little Google search for me, or whatever the cop Google is.
Kapoogle,
Google.
Kapoogle. If they just showed me some case files,
Why would they?
because what they should do is show ordinary people some case files, because we don't think like the cops. We think like ordinary people that commit these crimes, and I could be like, well, this is what I would do. Can I talk about the
I
event?
can't wait for Carlin Marie's
Wait.
newest TV show, Cop and Normie. Just a regular person bothering a cop as they try to do their job.
There may or may have been 2 times last year when I helped out Seattle PD with some crimes, but I'm scared that people are going to know I helped out and they're going to kill me.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell anyone.
But the second one was cool.
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
There was something that happened, okay? I don't want to give all the details because I really don't want to get murdered. It wasn't a murder. It was vehicle related.
Okay.
There was something that happened, and I called in the police because I knew there was a stolen vehicle. Okay?
I'm trying to. Okay.
I was like, okay, there's stolen vehicle, something happened, cops come. While we're waiting for the cops, neighbors start coming out, and they're about to touch the stolen vehicle.
Oh, you got your hands waving all over the place.
And I said, I have seen and listened to so many murder podcasts and true crime podcasts. Do not touch that car.
Oh, I remember what the scenario. You could say the scenario.
No, because what if they know?
What if who knows?
The people that did it.
Okay.
And you know what they did? They didn't listen. They touched the car.
Okay.
And because they wanted to turn it off, which I get, but I said, do not touch it. They used a plastic bag to open it and do it. For the cop, before he even parks the car.
Hold on. Just so everyone, I'm not going to give all the details
fine.
away. Just so everyone has some idea of
I
what you're
did.
talking about. There was an accident
In front of our house.
close to where we live, not in front of our house.
Actually, it was not in front.
Close to where we live,
Yeah.
the people who got into the accident ran away
Yeah, and I knew.
in a different vehicle.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And I immediately know what happened, so I do my due diligence.
And because that car got into an accident and was crashed,
It was like
the
in the middle of
neighbors
the
wanted to
street.
turn it off.
And I was like, I'm telling you, don't touch anything.
Mhm.
And the cop pulls up. Before he even parks the car, he rolls down the window. He said, did any of you touch that vehicle? And I went,
So you double snitched.
yeah, because you know what? You should have
You
listened.
snitched on the snitches.
And I was like, yo, bro, I'm telling you. It was this guy.
I mean, you're not wrong. You should not. No one should have touched it.
I'm like, and I have watched so many shows because, and in all the,
or you grab a plastic bag,
because
right?
in
and you
all
do
the
one of
true
these.
crime podcasts, it's the idiots that show up to the scene like, oh my God, my friend was murdered. I'm going to stomp in all the blood. You don't do that
Unless you killed your friend.
because then you're now a suspect. I'm telling you now, if your friend gets murdered, do not stomp in their blood. You will be a suspect.
If anyone gets murdered, whether they're your friends or not, don't stomp. If you see blood,
Don't stomp.
don't
in it.
stomp in it.
Don't
I
stomp
think
in it.
that's the moral of the story here. Don't
So-
stomp in blood.
And that was the second time. There was another time Seattle PD asked me if I could pick somebody out of a lineup, which I did not get to do yet. And I will tell you what, I would cancel. I won't go to my niece's wedding to do that.
Here's the interesting thing about picking someone out of a lineup is if someone like tried to murder me and didn't have a mask on, I'm pretty sure I could remember enough details
I
to
would
pick them out of a lineup, right?
ask-
But if I saw someone fleeing a scene or something like that, I've seen so many documentaries and TV shows about how our mind plays tricks on us and doesn't remember things properly that I would be so nervous that I messed up.
They don't find people that look like that person. They make it easy so that you can, like, it's not like if it's not
like 8 dudes that look like me.
Right.
It's like one that looks like me, one that looks like Thor.
That looks like me, maybe.
Okay. Well, yeah, if it's very different, maybe. I don't know.
Meg said, I picked someone out of a lineup. I was so nervous. Can you call us? But anyway, Detective Ortner, if you're watching.
Don't put his card up on there.
Well, you can't see it.
That's all his information.
You can literally Google him.
Well,
it's public information.
We'll let him do that.
Anyway. I would make a great sidekick. Oh. 201-305-0894.
Oh. Meg's gonna call us?
Yeah, but you could text it to her. The number.
Oh, put it in the chat, you're saying.
Oh, Claire did. You're good.
Thank you, Claire. Can you write phone screen on that list? I got to remember to do that later.
We have a list?
No, just so I don't forget it.
Phone and list.
It's nice having an assistant, you know? Good morning, Meg.
Hello.
So,
without giving too many details, because I don't want you to get murdered.
Or give us all the details if you want. So we were talking
Don't
earlier
worry.
about how Carla Marie was asked, even though it was never followed through. She was asked to pick if she could pick someone out of a lineup, but you've actually done that, right?
Yes.
So give us the situation.
The story is I worked as a concierge in New York City, and we had this guy come in and buy. We used to sell tickets to like Knicks games and stuff. And so this guy came in and bought a bunch of tickets. I think he bought like 12 from me. And then the next day, apparently he came in and bought another 12 from my coworker. And what he was doing is using stolen credit cards, buying tickets from us, and then going across the street to Madison Square Garden and selling the tickets to people on the street.
Oh, like scalping them.
Yes, he was scalping them, but he was using stolen credit cards by buying the tickets from us.
So were you able to actually pick him out of a lineup? Did they have him there?
Yes. So the cops came to our hotel, and first they gave me a bunch of pictures and asked me if I could pick him out from the pictures. And then the next day, the cops came and drove me in a police car over to the station where they had a lineup just like on TV of like 10 guys, and they were like, pick him out. And then they drove me back to the hotel and took my coworker then, and we both picked out the same guy.
So let me ask you a question, because Carla Marie claims they wouldn't put people that look similar in the lineup. Did everyone look very different, or were there like people that looked kind of similar where you may have made a mistake? I'm not saying you did. I'm just asking what the lineup looked like.
So he was black, and it was 10 black guys, and they all looked very similar.
Oof.
Oh, man.
So Carla Marie was incorrect. They did not all look this. They don't look very different. Or I guess in your case, it could be different across the country.
Yes, so they all look similar. And then my coworker, when he had come to her, he was wearing a hat. And so when she did the lineup, all the guys were wearing navy blue hats that looked similar because she had to pick him out wearing a hat.
You know
so wait, hold on, sorry. When he came to you, he was not wearing a hat, though.
Correct.
Interesting.
Okay, question though. When he was standing in the lineup, did he look nervous?
No, they all looked straight ahead. No one looked nervous. They all just looked like normal.
Well, they also tell them, right, all to look in the same direction. They all have to like turn to the side and stuff. Is that it's like it is in the TV shows and the movies?
Yes, they exactly. It was so funny because I was like, I felt like I was in an episode of SVU. Like it was literally just like they do on the TV.
That's crazy.
Man.
Well, Meg, thank you for sharing that story. How long ago
Of
did
course,
that happen?
you're welcome. About 12, 13 years ago, so it was a long time ago.
All right, well, thanks for sharing. We appreciate you. You look great.
Thank you. You look great.
You look great. We got a text during that from area code 203. Shout out Connecticut. I can see Carla Marie picking out a lineup like on Brooklyn Nine-Nine where they sing I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys.
If you want to continue this conversation, whether you're watching on YouTube, you can always drop a comment in the comment section. And if you want to text us, you can do that. That number is...
The number is 201-305-0894. The cuckoo clocks are going off, which means it's 9 o'clock, and it was throwing me for a loop. Pamela from SoCal, by the way, congratulations on expecting your second baby, said, I was listening. It'll be a birthday.
Exactly. At some point.
I wonder how many babies have been born to this show since we started on Twitch. A lot.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Pamela said, I was... Ooh.
You want to put it on the screen?
It's okay. I was listening to a podcast last week, and the investigator said it's actually illegal to have people in the lineup that don't match the initial description of the perp. So they technically shouldn't have people in the lineup that look vastly different if they already have a description of what they look like.
And this is why.
Makes sense.
This is why. I'll say this a million times. Don't listen to anything that Carla Marie or I ever say. Especially, okay, here, actually, let me take it back. If you're listening to it in this form, on Twitch or on YouTube, don't listen to a goddamn thing we say.
It's fact-checked on the Morning Show podcast.
When you're listening to the Morning Show podcast, we do a lot of work to make sure we are giving you at least the facts, the agreed upon true facts at that time. That doesn't mean things don't change later on with new information. But we do our best to fact check ourselves, check our biases, things like that.
Well, I don't know. Because I don't think that they would find anyone that looked like the guy that I saw.
Where? Which situation are we talking about here?
The first one where we witnessed somebody breaking into a business and getting away in a bright orange shirt. Because who does that?
Yeah, that was an interesting criminal.
Okay, but here's what's crazy. We witnessed this super early in the morning, like 4 a.m. When I called the police to report it, I described the guy. And Anthony's like, no. I described him as a white man with red beard and hair. You said, he goes, he was black.
No, I said he was...
a light-skinned black.
I said he could have been light-skinned black. He could have been he could have been a lot of things. I think it was a little more ambiguous.
But it was like, but we were still very different in how we saw it. And I was like, this is so, like... We see it on shows how like, no, I saw this or I saw that. And you're like, how is that possible? And it happened. So when the police called me back to ask me about the lineup and stuff, and I said, just a heads up, like, I think my boyfriend was there. I think he could also pick someone out of the lineup, but we both saw this person differently.
What did help with that one was the vehicle that the guy jumped into.
Yeah,
that was pretty.
I had the license plate.
Yeah, that's really all you needed at the end of the day.
I
don't think they did anything with it.
I don't know.
Or could have. I don't know.
But I will say that I think the police need like a people version of the K9 unit.
They just let regular people do police work?
Basically how like it used to be a hall monitor. Loved being a hall monitor. Or like a door, like what was that called? You weren't just a hall monitor because you did the hall monitoring, you held the doors, you did other things in my elementary school and had another
So you want
name.
like the city of Seattle to pay you to hold the door? Right? Is that?
I'm gonna be
and check people's passes?
Yeah, basically. That's
so
what
check people's like vaccination passes?
No, I don't even need to get into that. Safety patrol, but had another name. But Fred the Mailman said that I would start the feline unit. Me.
Cats? I wonder if we could train cats to be good at anything.
They have the airport cat in San Diego.
Yeah, but that's just like he's not doing a job, right? He's just there to be like a cat.
I think that's
his job.
The thought of making a cat work, they're like
exactly. That's why I wonder, and I have
they're
seen
too smart to work.
Back when the circus used to have animals performing and stuff, because now they don't do that, right? No. Am I going this way?
Yeah, in my thing it's creepy.
So I guess the circus now, when they relaunch, is not going to have lions and tigers and elephants and stuff.
My.
But when I last went to the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus in New Jersey, it was at the Izod Center. They had a cat trainer.
Oh, you can train a cat.
This guy, he had like 24 cats Just bang, bang, bang. Listen to every single thing that he said. They were jumping up on things, doing things in unison.
I think that could be in the circus, but like lions should not be transported in cages around America.
I will tell you something.
Yes.
Especially now, as someone who lives with I have 4 cat roommates. Okay. The fact that this guy was able to do those tricks with that many cats is more impressive to me than the guy that was walking the elephants around.
Okay.
I could probably train an elephant.
But I could train a cat.
No, you can't. Not like that guy did.
I'm whining. I haven't gotten that
They were
far.
like...
I teach them things.
They were going through obstacle courses. They were going on 2 legs.
And you know for a fact... I get them to go on 2 legs.
Yeah, but not with like a treat. He was just pointing at him.
We
And
can
they'd go,
start with the treat. We're at the treat level. Next, it'll be...
That guy was fascinating.
We're going to button train them. I want to know what they got to say.
The other stuff that went on in the circus, because there are a lot of people saying they loved the circus growing up, blah, blah, blah. This is going to sound weird at first. I am sad that the circus as we know it will no longer have as many animals or any animals. But hear me out. I know that back in the day when they were like caging all of these animals, they were in terrible conditions. And I'm not saying we should ever go back to that. I would like to see if we could find some middle ground where maybe there are less animals so they have more space and they can be treated better.
Yeah, but
because
can't you go to a sanctuary and watch feedings and things like that?
You can, but much like how zoos get a bad rap, right? But some zoos are ran really, really well. It's the roadside zoos that are terrible.
But it's the zoos that, like, are animals spayed and neutered when they get to zoos?
No, they're usually allowed to breed.
Which is the problem. Then you're breeding animals in captivity.
No, so you're not wrong, but you're also not right. 2 things can be true at the same time. Because there are, like right now, for tigers, for example, I believe there are more tigers in captivity than there are in the wild. That says more about how we don't have a lot of tigers in the wild. And if we didn't have them in captivity, we might lose them forever. So there is
I get that, but
we're in a weird place in society
but I don't
for
think
that.
We have federally, right? I don't think we have regulations when it comes to things like zoos.
And we should.
And that's why
we absolutely should.
It's mind-boggling. Like the Woodland Park Zoo here, they are great.
Yes.
They are one of the best zoos, I think, outside of the Bronx Zoo, in America. At
it's
least.
like here, San Diego. I think Cincinnati has a good zoo.
But
although Cincinnati is where Harambe happened, isn't it?
What was the whole thing? I forget.
They had to shoot that ape because someone's kid went in there.
Well, that seems like it's a human problem.
It is a human problem, but the ape had to die, according to the zoo people.
I forgot that was 2016, and then people wrote in Harambe for their elections.
R.I.P. Harambe.
That was where that got us. There is the AZA is the governing body. I don't think they're doing a great job. Just saying.
Then how did Tiger King get away with everything he was doing? Is he not under the AZA because it's not an official zoo?
Do I have to work here too? No.
We're at the AZA?
And the police? I can't do all these things.
What I was going to get back to, though, the sad thing about the circus not having animals, and keep in mind, I am aware that they weren't in the greatest conditions. I just would like to see that changed first. But the thing I think that zoos and the circus do for the positive thing, I should say, that I think they do, is they are the easiest way to get kids interested in animals. And to see them up close, to know that a tiger is a real thing, and to create some empathy for those animals and hopefully for the planet as a whole. I think proper zoos, the Bronx Zoo here in Seattle, we have Woodland Park. I think those are obviously a great thing. But the circus traveled to all these different towns, right? And it was for a lot of people back in the day, it was the first time they got to see the magnificence of an elephant.
Yeah.
Which I was telling Carla Marie, I was listening to, and I am so embarrassed that it has taken me this long to listen to a full Dan Harlan hardcore history podcast.
Oh, I never did.
Let me warn you, if you have never listened to one before and you have no idea what I'm talking about, they are very long. Multiple podcasts on one subject. They're very long. I spent probably 9 or 10 hours listening to his 3-part podcast about the Persian Empire, the rise and fall of the first Persian Empire. And one of the fascinating things I learned was one of the reasons Alexander the Great was able to conquer and beat the Persians when he did was because he had elephants. And the people he was fighting at the time, most of them had never seen or even knew an elephant existed. So all of a sudden, you're getting ready to go to war, and this
Dinosaur.
behemoth, and there would only be about a dozen of them. It's not like he had thousands and thousands of elephants riding into battle, but even a dozen elephants walking at you, and you got your little spear and your little wicker shield.
You're like, what are you gonna do with it?
I would crap myself.
But
If
I guess they're not
imagine,
like that big.
But imagine if you didn't even know they existed, and then all of a sudden they are in your face
With their trunk.
and their tusks.
How did they train elephants back then?
Easier than training cats. Tell you that much.
Yeah.
What do we have going on in the chat? You.
Martha said, I took Zach when he was 2 to the circus and rode an elephant 8 weeks post C-section. The worst thing I've ever done.
Whew.
I rode an elephant at the Meadowlands Fair. I think back to that, and I'm like, I was a kid.
I don't think I've ever ridden an elephant.
And a camel. I
There's
rode
a
a camel. We were supposed to ride camels in the desert.
I gotta ask my mom because we've been to so many zoos and wildlife places and whatnot that I'm sure I was at some point in my life put on an elephant, but I don't remember in my adult or teenage life riding one. I have ridden a camel. Surprise, surprise.
I have too. But Erica P said, I'm allergic to elephants. First of all, how do you find that out? Second,
is there a prick test that puts a little elephant hair in you?
like, did you have an allergic reaction? Because it could have just been being a carnival animal.
I'm allergic to elephants is one I have never heard of ever in my life.
Yeah, we're going to need.
Erica P, please, if you can let us know how you found that out. If you want to call us,
They do
put it
have
in the
little
chat, whatever.
hairs, believe it or not.
Well, yeah, they're mammals. You have to believe it if they're mammals. Isn't that like one of the qualifications to being a mammal is having hair?
Aren't dolphins mammals?
Yeah, they have hair.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Have you ever pet one?
They're very tiny little
Where
hairs.
did I pet one? Nowhere.
SeaWorld?
Never
I don't
been. And then we went
You've
to
never been to SeaWorld?
No, and I'm never gonna go.
Was there a SeaWorld in Florida? There was, right?
Oh no, wait. Oh no, at Six Flags they had something.
But was there a SeaWorld in Florida? Because I'm sure
That's where there still is a SeaWorld.
I thought the main one was in San Diego.
No, what? I don't think so.
Either way.
Oh, it's not there anymore. Okay, wait. I tried to go on an elephant ride and I had a reaction. I'm allergic to everything.
Oh, okay. Huh.
SeaWorld Orlando. Yeah, no, it's correct.
I guess that's probably the one that I went to when I was younger. And this is why I always tell people, don't waste money taking your kids places when they're little.
Yeah,
You're not going to remember anything. And although you got to remember, I grew up in a time where like my parents didn't have cell phones. So there weren't a billion pictures of me doing every single thing. Know. Like your nephew and your niece,
we'll have
your great nephew and your not great niece, they have their whole lives documented. So they're always going to know like, oh yeah, I definitely went to SeaWorld because there's 8,000 pictures of me on my mom's Facebook going to SeaWorld.
We went to, what was that place called?
Whereas when I went, there was maybe 3 pictures of me. And they were probably like in SeaWorld frames.
When we went to Florida with my brother.
Yes.
What's that place called?
Oh, I don't remember.
I just threw out my name tags from it.
It was by Disney, and it's like a
Not
water.
SeaWorld, but it's.
I don't know. It's owned by Disney?
No.
No?
Anyway, we got to feed flamingos. Didn't one almost peck your ween? Those things are like scary, man. They're like as tall as I am. But Discovery Cove. Okay. So it's apparently better than SeaWorld. They're like treated so great. And I was like, yes, but there's still a dolphin swimming in a pool.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, this dolphin's 30 years, however. I'm like, and it lives so much longer than they do in the ocean. I'm like, well, yeah, also, but what is its quality of life? It's swimming in a pool. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand. So anyway, my whole family did swim with the dolphins except for us because I was not doing it.
I took a great nap in a hammock.
We did nap.
Phenomenal.
It was nice. But they did say it was pretty cool.
I'm sure it was. And I've definitely done that at some point in my life when I was younger, I think.
Look at you supporting it.
Yeah.
We almost didn't even go to Discovery Cove. My brother was like, you're going to Discovery Cove.
Nara said, I think Discovery Cove was part of SeaWorld, like it broke off?
I don't know. But listen.
I don't know.
Do dolphins have hair? Is what I Googled.
And?
Whales and dolphins were once land mammals before they evolved into ocean-going mammals we see today. Just like humans, some dolphin species have hair called lanugo on their body shortly after birth. The hair is later shed. Whales and dolphins still need to breathe air, so how do they sleep underwater? That was more. That was the next fact.
So they have hair at some point in their lives.
How is a dolphin a mammal if it doesn't have hair?
Okay.
Some cetaceans, that's how you say that? Cetaceans, whales and dolphins have hair as fetuses, but lose it before or shortly after birth.
Okay. So they are born with hair.
Yeah, but like, I swear I've pet a dolphin. I just don't know where because I can see it. Maybe in my previous life I was
a SeaWorld trainer?
I hope not.
Oh, man. All right. It is time for us to get out of here. Thank you very much.
God, so we supported SeaWorld. Well, I didn't. My brother did.
Thank you very much for hanging out with us. It is time for us to get out of here. Don't forget, listen to the Morning Show podcast wherever you get your shows. And to everyone who messaged me this morning, letting me know that where one of our ads was supposed to play was like a couple seconds too late. Thank you very much. We should have, is that handled?
Yes.
I handled my side.
Should be.
You handled your side?
Should be.
All right. Well, fingers crossed it should be handled. Go back and listen to it and let us know. We'll be back in your ears tomorrow and in your eyeballs as well. Peace out.